It's time for some FACEIT League playoffs. We are kicking off the postseason here for NA. And everybody's starting up. I mean, from Master Expert and down into Advanced and Open, all kicking off. Playoffs here tonight. And, well, we're going to start things off with a banger. Upper bracket round 1. Start tonight, run all the way into grand finals on Sunday. Will be taking place on the main broadcast on OW Esports Twitch channel. I will be there casting alongside Spectrion for EMEA and Living Kiwi for NA. I cannot wait. It's going to be wild and woolly next 5 days. We will have matches every single day on this channel up until that point. First things first, we're going to start things off here in NA Master Division. I've got Nightmare taking on Extinction, one of probably your favorites of the division, taking on the champions, the reigning champs coming out of Season 6. Should be a banger. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Let's take a look. I should have Spectrion joining me here. Nightmare are coming in as your 2nd seed. Extinction actually got put down to your 7th seed after dropping a series to Artemis. Artemis almost made the miracle run back, as they were able to take that head-to-head. They were able to 3-2 Extinction, but Extinction won their match over In Control, giving them the precious 9th win and a spot here in postseason. By the hair of their chinny chin chins, Extinction find themselves with a playoff spot here. But hey, it doesn't matter how you got in, doesn't matter what seed you got in at. It's how you finish. That is what is important. All kind of trying to play catch up to your top 2. I think Nightmare and Dreamland are going to be the 2 teams to be here. I mean, I'd be surprised if we don't see those 2 teams make it through to top 4. Top 4 is all you need to secure a place in phase 2 of your OWCS qualifiers. That is just winning 2 matches, basically. Make it to lower bracket semis or upper bracket finals. You're guaranteed a spot in phase 2 of OWCS quals. If you just avoid going out in lower bracket round 1, if you do not get O2'd, you will guarantee yourself a spot in Master Division for Season 8. Looks like written Spec in here.
What's up?
Spectrion, what's up, my friend?
I think it could be really down to the wire here. I would say, though, in terms of the players who I really just love the individual of, and Nightmare, I do think sticking out to me a bit more, especially that DPS line. Obviously, Rocket Chopper, I think that's so powerful. And it is on Extinction to try and match up to obviously the favorites in this game. But I think they absolutely have that available to them. I think they can peak high when they need to. I think we could have something on our hands here.
Extinction are a weird case. So Extinction were looking so damn strong all season. They end up losing 4 of their last 6. But amidst that, they beat Nightmare. If they hadn't have beat Nightmare, they'd have missed playoffs.
Just the fact they got the W as well is absolutely humongous to your mental. You come into this game and we did it once, we can do it again. And flip side of things, Nightmare are probably going to feel a bit robbed at this loss, right? So I'm assuming they put in a decent amount of elbow grease to try and make this time a hell of a lot easier for them. I know I've been seeing basically permanently Zarya everywhere in EMEA and NA. Is it any more like Diva, any more Hazard, do you think? Or is it just the same speed?
It really depends on the tanks. But we're going to have Pela in for this first map. So, I mean, we could absolutely get the Wrecking Ball here on Ilios to start.
That is always a fun one. If the ball plays well, then they win. If the ball plays bad, then their team kind of just loses. It really is as simple as that. And so there'll be a lot of pressure onto Pela's shoulders. But we've seen they've got some pretty broad ones when they need it.
It's amazing how many co-streamers we've got in this thing. There's like 8 co-streamers on this thing. It's ridiculous how many people are in this lobby. Somebody was asking earlier in chat about the YFE match, my YFE Dreamland. I don't know, but there are a ton of featured co-streamers.
Okay.
I'm sure somebody's streaming it somewhere. I just saw Unter in this lobby, and that's when I knew things were getting out of hand.
Freya going to be a little bit more pick focused than the Sojourn, slightly less of a consistent threat, but those double bolts are still so threatening even without the double kill on the body shot. Obviously, Bull for Pela, like we spoke about before, so much map control instantly taken by Extinction. You have to find an isolated target or a double dink, for example, from Temp, and then they can really get the ball rolling, so to speak.
Lower seed team having first ban? Are you sure? I thought Nightmare got first ban on that one. Did Extinction actually get first pick? I thought Nightmare just chose to stay on the left. But I just assumed Nightmare got first pick, first ban on this. I did not actually see like the name pop up. It's always just been the left-hand side gets first ban all season long. So, you know, I will admit it was an assumption. Social's able to grab an opening pick here. And we do have Nightmare already in control of the point, though Extinction with that first blood. So far, the ball's not been able to evict AST and the Zarya off the objective just yet. Tim will pile on another kill, though, so you know what? Another opportunity here for Extinction to get this going.
It's really hard here on the Zarya. I mean, we're seeing it now, but you just can't play the game. You have a decent enough damage threat to stop somebody from just standing next to you, but you have nobody to catch onto any target, and so AST just has to park their ass on the cart and hope that somebody overpeaks. It's not going to happen. Instead, boots every which way and eventually eliminated. 30% is nice for a fight you didn't technically win, but they're going to need to isolate Temp again and again and again if this comp is really going to find them much success here on Lighthouse.
Lampent with a pulse ball ready to go, trying to chase this rotation. As Nightmare heads to the high ground and trying to position on this balcony. Love to get that Suzu out. Rokit,
Nice.
who is obviously playing in this game and is probably the best Vendetta we have seen in FACEIT League so far, with a big two-piece to open up this fight. Lampent does not connect with that aforementioned pulse, and this will be a flip for Nightmare.
Okay, I guess the benefit of playing the Zarya versus the Bull is that your Vendetta gets all the resources in the world. Rokit just sends it into the background, finds a double kill, and Overwatch at this, you know, stage in the game really is just about if you're the Vendetta better. This case absolutely is, and that's why it's a lead in favor of Nightmare once more.
It's gonna be a beat engage for, whoa. Nightmare is actually dropping the beat as we had Extinction engage. Rokit picks up another pair. Again, just so much resources. Rocket's gonna get two and is just so lethal in this round. Now, I wasn't kidding when I said best Vendetta in FACEIT League.
We're seeing that now.
Oh!
Oh, Chopper's done to his own damage. That is unfortunate. But
I think I booped into it by Pela if I saw that correctly. Yeah. The Nightmare Kitsu on point will win this out in the end.
It's like a seesaw back and forth in terms of that momentum. Only now Nightmare able to create any sort of difference in between themselves and Extinction, and Temp's Bob is a great tool to clear out the objective once more. Rokit's Vendetta comes closer and closer to securing a kill, but this time not allowed the double open up that he's got twice before.
Okay, we can check rulebook on beds here after this map. Gav thrown in from AST. And that's going to be more than enough to win the fight. Pela actually giving up on the wrecking ball here in the final moments.
Interesting. I think you get the touch from the Bull more than anything else, but I guess they do have Lampent to be able to get OT started.
No,
No, we're dead. Not even a touch.
No touch.
That's brutal. Start out looking so good, right? They get first fight, they get, you know, 30 or so %, but again, it was Rokit found a double kill. It's as simple as that on the Detta, and the momentum really just swung back the other way. Shoes on the other foot now, and Nightmare able to got 1 and 0. And I've got to say now, we are here on, I believe, well. It's just so much easier to play the Zarya. The sightlines are much more accessible for the particle cannon. So much easier to find scaling that aren't high grounds to abuse nearly as hard. I've got to say, feels like this is a Nightmare's map to win.
It's going to actually be Temp playing in the fray. Chopper goes over to the Cassidy. This is probably one of Freya's best maps in the game. So I'm kind of surprised to see Chopper make the swap, clearly just in response directly to Pela. Try to help protect that backline from the Wrecking Ball dive. At least that's what makes sense in my brain. But if Tim can just sit up here and rain, take aim bolts down, it'll eventually pay off and get him some kills. Rocket's already closing the gap, but here comes Extinction. Ooh, Rocket's going to chase down towards Lampent, recall forced, and a bit of a couple of different fights going on at the moment.
This is so rough for Lampent to play into. He is bad ones into basically everybody but the backline, and so has to avoid Rokit and Chopper both. I absolutely like the plague that time. Doesn't manage it, and obviously going to be in the spawn room for his troubles, and Rokit, he's just right back to doing what he does.
Oh, and you rip the ball and the Lucio out of the sky. Chopper's able to finish off the former. The overhead slice the latter. And Rocket's just dominating this battlefield at the moment.
Almost a fadeaway as well. Lampent's lucky to escape with his life, and 30% at least going to be the reward for Rokit for all of his hard work. A bubble in social low. The chase actually doesn't materialize.
40% on the board. Nope. Then you're just going to go up and make sure you clear off that high ground. And talk about the importance of not letting Temp have it. Rocket is keenly aware. Right now, this is just, it feels like the Rocket show. You have to be able to stop the vendetta. You have to have an answer for, I mean, this hero on the point. Anybody gets close, and they just get the business into the Fang.
I think, 50% of it is just, Death is a stupid character. I mean, we look at Turbo Smooth in EMEA, and it feels like the same thing. When you're casting a Jaeger game, you just mention his name over and over again because you get all the resources to do whatever the hell you want. This time, Temp, a double vault onto Chopper, finds a necessary opener if they're able to snowball this into a flip.
Bubble thundering off the corner, and you catch Social at 95%. Disaster continues here for Extinction. They do have a couple ultimates to try to swing this around. To take aims, land onto Rocket, but they're able to back up and get some healing. They just infinite mobility of that Deadeye. Deadeye out from Chopper will buy some space for 90% here on the board. Pela low, trying to set up for some mines, but just can't even get close. Chopper fights Juno in the meantime, cutting down resources, cutting down time, leaving Pela a few options, tries to just drop some mines over the corner here. Kitsu's in play. Big rotation from Nightmare. They completely move to the other side of the map from the minefield. And even though Social has a beat, they just don't have the punching power to get back into this fight. This is going to be a 100-0 for Nightmare, taking well in the 1-0 lead in your upper bracket round 1.
Like I said, the map geometry, in my opinion, just favors the Zard Detta way harder. So as soon as we get off the realistically super awkward lighthouse setup here on Well, then it is just Nightmare who run away with things because they actually have the meta comp, right? The Winston or the Bull or whatever kind of weird stuff Pela's on now, it's good. Absolutely, it's always going to be a certain amount of powerful just because of how synergistic those heroes are, just because of how high skill ceiling that style of play is. But flip side of things, you can just throw a bubble onto the Sword Lady and have a kill too. I think that is kind of why we see the 1-0 go to Nightmare so simply there.
Extinction will take us to New Queen Street and ban out the Zarya. So given what we were hearing, I may have had the bans backwards in the last map, but with a Diva and a Yari ban, I'm not sure it was too imperative. We had 9 deaths to 24, by the way, on Ilios. Very commanding. And Chopper was 5 of Nightmare's 9 deaths.
Unfortunate. Yeah, it happens being hit scan in this meta.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
it's a
exactly.
powerful only individual, but you are also just like target number 1. You need that presidential level appeal, and that resources are always going to somebody else. So it can really suck. In theory, though, you should be having the Kiri hard pocket you, and your Lucio is not booping away a Vendetta engage, but a cleanse sometimes can help you live for a little bit longer.
Okay, we are going to get both Zarya and Vendetta banned out here. Okay, my stream deck's just shit in the bed today.
Ugh, unfortunate. Shit happens.
Who's best in a Zar? Ooh. That's a good question, actually.
Magic Mate Ball?
I mean... Cardi fan. Cardi fan's best in... I mean, never mind, just played it for the first time like 2 weeks ago.
Interesting we see the Cassidy here rather than the Soz. Chopper is going to be a target, and so going to have to get quite a lot of resources from Aniyun and ASD just to stay alive. If he does, though, going to be such a huge problem for Pela to deal with on any attempt at a roll through.
Lampent actually pulling off the Genji here with the Vendetta ban as well. Chopper so far just staying on the high ground, just going to protect this corner. You can see, I mean, constant geolocator on Pela.
SC's lost a lot of HP, I've got to say. This is getting kind of scary here for Nightmare. They need something to happen sooner rather than later, in my opinion. Else, ASC might just get DMX in pre-fight. They've given up all the space basically they can. Extinction are already taking bot. They are biding their time, but how long for?
Yeah, Neptune's eventually going to get cut down. Great converge there from Extinction, as everybody just popped onto the Lucio in front of the coffee shop. Now we'll get a 2-3 player pile drive. You'll force out Suzu. Ooh, Pela got stunned up, took a lot of damage, but they're able to escape down to the Mega. Kitsu now in play here from Aniyun. Nightmare trying to make a move. Finally getting aggressive for the first time on New Queen Street. Good job from Extinction. They just all skedaddle. Great disengage.
Fantastic disengage here. A bit of a weird Kitsu placing to boot, and the timing, unfortunately, simply not there. Extinction now, also advantage, can push forward. As long as Pela's stable, then they should be able to win out any sort of long fight.
They have to wait for Pela to get this Mega, I think, before we get the Kitsu in. Once Pela's topped up. Ooh, keep an eye on Lampent. Lampent was getting chased here a little bit. Things got a bit awkward here for Extinctions. They're trying to set up for a re-engage. Please resolve your issues. Well, apparently Extinction dead. They found an opening. They're going to throw it on the Kitsu, but it's been responded to by the Deadeye. Chopper gets booped out, though. Beautiful pick there. Juno's able to find that kill. Tip has been traded, so it's 4v4. Lampent's blade denied by the sound barrier from Neptune. And we continue here at a 4v4. Rokit invested a pulse bomb somewhere through that, and Lampent's eventually cut down in this corner.
It feels like we haven't seen a proper fight win for so long, but finally, the skirmish begins to go back the other way for a second. Pela with a minefield can deny the robot entirely. And so cart's rolling straight back. We are almost 3 minutes in here, Jeff, and the cart has rolled 30 meters, barely.
There's some shades of old Colosseo.
Okay.
Once again, a quiet moment in Queen Street as an overclock comes and goes for Temp. Aniyun will slingshot with their second Kitsune rush of the map. I mean, considering Juno's only at 30%.
And disengaged.
Yeah, again disengaged.
I gotta say, this is kind of impressive how both teams are just kiting every ult that's been sent their way so perfectly. Again, we're still in essentially the same deadlock we started out with. Will ASC be the first to fall, or will a nuke reset just allow them to keep fighting?
Chopper's been very conservative with their positioning, staying up here in the corners, not allow Pela to really go run away with it. But speaking of run away with it, though, Extinction have gotten enough progress to make things awkward for Nightmare. Rokit and company are going to have to give chase now. I think fortunately for them, Extinction didn't have ults to spin to hoard it. So we get another little awkward fight in front of the gym. Nice drop down from Lampent and Pela. AST goes up high. It's just, I mean, tit for tat, jab for jab for each of these teams. Chopper overextends to get a kill, but it costs them. It's being a 2-for-1 trade for Extinction.
Yeah, finally some kills going in the lobby at all, in fact. It's still, though,
for real.
The fight is over. 2-for-1 is by no means conclusive, and a nuke reset allowed via cleansing so ASC can simply keep the pressure up. Neptune close beat, that could be the tool needed to swing things back in their favor.
There we go, an important pile drive down onto Aniyun. And Extinction finally do feel like they might have found second gear here at the very least. Ooh. That was a very nice little short fireball. I want to just acknowledge the like 1 meter fireball we just saw on a Pela to put damage down. That was wild.
It was nice. But no, I think the compensating from Nightmare just plays entirely to explode Pela. If they're allowed to live, then I do think it's Extinction who have the advantage in long fight. Social punctuates my point with a great kill to Rokit.
And we already had checkpoint picked up, despite the Deadeye from Chopper. Nobody's able to get back and contest. Sound barrier to re-engage, and Aniyun coming up on yet another. She's building these so wicked fast. As actually will catch up to lap Juno, I believe, through this, but I don't know if there's going to be any reinforcements left to use that Kitsu. Juno and Social both have picks in this fight. AST is in pilot form now, is just watching a timer, and Extinction win another one.
Chopper goes the Ash, realizing the Cassie just hasn't been finding all that much bite, and I think Nightmare created a bit of a weird damned if they do, damned if they don't situation. If they go cart, they get out angled. If they don't go cart, the cart just continues to roll. That's why we've got an 88 meter lead now to just 16. This is so unfortunate from Neptune pre-fighted.
The AST and company just have to back up. Rokit's trying to inch out some space, but can't find anything to work with. Forced back toward the spawn doors. The Nightmare are feeling more and more contained. AST's bolstered here. We finally get that Kitsu I've mentioned earlier from Aniyun. Perfect disengage. Lampent trying to come back in. Social's able to get one. Lampent won't, though. And I think Nightmare might actually win a fight. There were like 2 deaths as we hit the 5-minute mark for Extinction in total. Social gets a late trade. Wait a minute. How is Social just that free in the middle of the road? What did I just say?
Social just leaves as well, commits daylight robbery and walks out the front door.
I mean, just right out the front door. I mean, just right up Main Street.
That is absolutely stupid. You've got no hit scans to refight, which means they can't push aggressively. Rokit, a beautiful pulse pick on Social, but traded back by Lampent.
That was ridiculous. I mean, take a bow, Social. I don't care. You know, you're laughing all the way back from that respawn. You know it. 3 minutes to go. That's some of the fewest kills I've ever seen in 7 minutes of semi-pro Overwatch.
That's the first run. Again, so passive. No one really looking to be the one to make the mistake. But when you are so up in lead, then you don't need to be super crazy. Nightmare, the ones who have to make a play, but their comp does not suit it. ASC loses so much HP for attempting something. They've got ults now. Bob, beat, bomb. How do they possibly manifest a fight from it, though? How do they catch onto a target?
The triple B ult combo. The triple B combo is coming in. Beat, Bob, and Bob. Like, I'm surprised you got all 3 of those out, honestly. Chopper's able to get the first kill here with the first of the 3 Bs. Now we have... Oh, I thought mines were going to come out. Nah, Pela, I think, was trying to bait some CDs. Just backs up and out. 2 minutes to go.
Mines comes through, tries to take care, or Missiles rather, tries to take care of Lampent, won't succeed, but they are succeeding at least in getting some more distance. They decided to leave the ASE on the point a little bit more, tried to go for a dive, but the sound barrier's there.
We have the response out of Social. Overclock. And no real good targets. Temp not connecting. Does scatter Nightmare a little bit. That is 4 support ults invested. Extinction back in control.
Indeed it is. But get closer at least to the forward spawns. Both teams expend heavily. I think you are happy about this in the net if you are Nightmare, but the mines may change your mood.
Oh, I mean, if that won't, then the Katana will. Lampent with 2 down. Another good team fight. They're going to stagger out the pilot here. Oh, just even nastier.
Normally you don't see staggers on this game mode because obviously the robot's not advancing when you're staggering. But when you realize that you're trying to reduce the amount of fights you need to take here to 1, so you can just go for 1 big ult fight, then it is worth it just to burn clock because your lead is, again, so gargantuan, about 80 meters. So, nice little piece of micro there from Extinction. Social, you spanner.
Got away with it once, not this time.
What's he up to?
Alright, bot getting away from Extinction here while they're trying to have some fun in the back line. Where is AST? Is AST... Okay, AST's back here in protection duty. This is... I feel like we are all over the map. What am I watching here? What is going on? Give me an overhead. What the hell is... Look at Extinction's positioning!
Dude, how is Social died there? Feels like every
and why is Social in the middle of the road?
Where's Lampent? What's Lampent doing there? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Good ults. You've got Bob. You've got Bomb. Area denial is going to be in your favor, but you need to actually shift Pela somehow, some way. With an attempt to turn Rokit, but won't succeed. Catching that tracer is notoriously tricky. Ooh. And Lampent just dies in actual Narnia.
Ooh. So that big split, kind of sniffed out here. Chopper, Neptune doing a good job if I can isolate and Lampent. Oh no, and the perfect Shaka Blast. The boop denies the exit for Pela. Checkpoint picked up here, and Nightmare have whittled this down. We've got our map here.
I mean,
I still think it's 2 fights.
I mean, yeah, it is about 2 fights. One good one, maybe. Especially if they get some of this free push. Again, they're very nice ults. Going up to 4. The mines deny the point temporarily. That gives Neptune enough time to finish the beat Annie and her Kitsu.
AST unbothered by the minefield. Yeah, good job from Nightmare. Just back up. There's not enough pressure onto the point. Out of Extinction through that. Now we do get the sound barrier thrown in. And Neptune's going to move up and find an important pick. They do themselves go down, but the kit's still available. We're going to layer that in. Try to see if we can push Bob or push the bot all the way forward.
Bomb, but no, just drops it. Needs the remake. The kills obviously going in favor of Temp. The OC doing more than enough. The can opener finally. And it takes an absolute age. But after 8 minutes of the slowest NQS we've ever seen, Extinction are able to equalize our series 1-1.
Gets down to the end, and Extinction just kind of outlast, it looked like, with the ultimates. You had the Kitsu, you had the OC there at the very end. You're able to just kind of wait out Aniyun. It kind of felt like a waiting game. You know, where the B was finally invested from Neptune and Nightmare. And then you get a slight disengage from Extinction. Then you get Aniyun's Kitsu layered on top of it. And everybody just kind of sits back. Like, Extinction don't really push. And I was questioning. I thought when the mines came out first, right? It was kind of the mines that were the starting point for all of it. I was like, why didn't they push on those mines? But Extinction were playing super, super patient. And you know what? The patience ends up being rewarded.
I mean, in that last fight, I think one of the big factors there is Rokit doesn't get sound barrier. He's stuck there, probably about 50 HP, waiting in his backline for heals. It doesn't really come because Neptune and Aniyun go fight high ground. They get their one, but obviously Neptune's traded for it. And they have no main support to mark any area of the map. The Trace, again, is still low on resources. You lose a lot of angles control. Back to standard from the defense. We are first time seeing it, actually, from Extinction. With the pressure onto Lampent to fill those rocket-sized shoes on the other side of the server.
I mean, has done it once before. Lampent absolutely took over in the previous matchup between these two, though that one, of course, did go to 5 maps. But it wasn't that long ago. You gotta feel it's still fresh in the brain for both of these teams. For Lampent, maybe the confidence to know that they can go toe-to-toe. For Rokit, perhaps want some revenge and to prove that they are truly the best data NA. We're just gonna change the meme. It's no longer best tracer NA. It's just best data NA.
Why not? Rokit making his way for a hit, misses the sword, and full unused just because of a misclick. Not what you love to see. Extinction will take the absolute gift and see what they can do with it, but if they just extend the deadlock an extra 30 seconds or so, that's enough of a gift for them.
Whoa. Pela staying in, by the way, is a bit worrisome, although I say that and Pela gets 2 picks on the Zarya, so, you know.
Fair enough.
I was going to say, typically, Extinction would bring in Twolzz to play this kind of situation, right? This is where we'd see Twolzz sub in, would play a little bit more in the ground and pound front to back style. But the Wrecking Ball player stays in, playing the Zarya, and, you know, I mean, so far so good, actually.
Curious if it's a availability thing, or they just stop scrimming with Twolzz. Could even be that they want to go ball at some other point in the map. They have options here, but none of them are fantastic. Still having charge for ASC, so impactful, so important that he lives there. And Rokit, Lampent, both able to get their one.
Lampent has to go all the way to coast side to find it. Tim gets a bubble, trying to win an important duel here. Leaps out towards the side. Pela gets the 2 kill, and Tim gets thrown off the side.
You don't see that every day. Temp hard controls cliffside there. Great individual picks. And then it decides to try and force the trade by flipping all the way off the map down the mountains of the ball. You don't see that every day.
It was just a red herring to pull away from the mighty Pela, all right? We do have a Chopper OC in play. Kitsune rush and grab out of this defense. But you know what? It's still, yeah, that's going to be more than enough. Pela with the huge grab. Beats AST design to grab by 20%. You were talking about who is the best Zarya in A? I mean...
The bits right now, I gotta say. It feels like has been the player we've spoken about most until Temp decided that, you know, Dishonor was more important than death. Obviously, both teams spend 2 there, but I've got to say, not having a grab for Pela is a huge disadvantage. ASC Design just needs one of their own, but they should be able to parlay that into a fight win.
Temp playing way off the coast side. Complete map flip here out of this defense. We're gonna get a 2-player beat here out of social to try to hold on to this thing. What an awkward 3v3.
Your spawns, I think, are slightly better as the defense, but you have no tank. It's so hard for you to contest anything. Look how hard teams have to try and kite ASC design. Finally, Pela's back, but you're down on charge, you're down on bubbles. This is going to be an uphill battle.
No touch. Pela gets cut down. Social. Why didn't you even know social was there? What kind of craziness is this out of Rokit? It's ridiculous Sixth Sense stuff right here.
It's called game sense.
Ridiculous.
Just able to know without knowing. And when all's said and done, about 3 minutes on the time bank here. Chopper tries a straight line, doesn't quite succeed, but allowed to live at the very least. Lampent a sword of their own. Found great value early on, but last couple of minutes has been Rokit running the Debtor show, and I gotta say, ASC design still got that graviton surge we spoke about earlier. You have no mitigating tools with your Extinction. You need a way to take care of this.
Okay, that's not exactly sure, but it looked like ASC just kind of got stubborn up there. May have caught some extra damage off of the Sundering Blade, got him low. It didn't look like it connected to me, but you know, once you turn the corner, AST's at 1 health, and they're immediately taken down.
Well, Lampent, where are you going? This is quite some positioning. Not spotted though, so able to get the information early on, and could come for a totally unexpected engage here onto the backline.
It's still like it took them a second before. I think they really knew what was going on. And they're like, okay, we're staying on target. I don't care about this vendetta behind us. We're moving forward. We're throwing in a Kitsune rush. We're chasing the Extinction defense all the way back to their spawn. Wait, where's the Extinction defense? Wait, they're over here now. The hell? That was from Nightmare's POV, by the way. That was what Nightmare's thinking.
I think so. I think a game plan here is they wanted to avoid the grab fight by any means necessary, so they tried to take a super creative fight. It obviously doesn't work out in their favor. Chopper rips an OC and rips Lampent off the server.
Extinction are still struggling to find a foothold to get back in. Grab out of ASD, catches 2, maybe 3 in that. Yeah, Tip Social and Juno, and despite the Kitsune from the other side, this will be a cap with about 2:30 left in the bank here, heading into point C.
Well for themselves, I have to say. This is about what I would describe as par. I think both teams have been relatively even, but consistently winning out their ult fights has been Nightmare. Just makes it so much easier to get additional distance here on Escort. Pela now grab advantage. If I am Nightmare, I'm probably looking just to eat the grab flight as a loss and win after that on ults and OT. See if they want to fight the same way though.
Rokit's already made it through the choke. Oh, but so has Lampent. It's being a couple of trades back and forth. Lampent, the actual only one to die there for this defense.
Weird situation. Obviously, nothing really spent, which is the exact opposite of what you want in this kind of scenario. You've got relatively close spawns. You do need to push a couple extra meters more than you'd like. This is where you're looking to bleed out ults no matter what the cost. You don't get that, and it means that the next fight is only going to be harder, only going to be trickier. And it's a huge ult bank for Extinction now to bring into this fight. Everything bar the Kitsune rush. What do you call it? Space Jam?
Let's see. Wait, I like Space Jam, but Space Jam isn't what I was thinking of. Isn't
Supernova? I think.
Supernova is what we were calling grab plus sundering. Yeah. This right here. Boom. There you go. That was it. Thank you for the demonstration.
Thank you very much, Extinction. They do exactly that. They're able to get the hole, but this is much better now for the attackers. Their opponents spend heavily. It's going to be an unmirrored Kitsune, an unmirrored overclock. Juno needs to charge into hers as fast as humanly possible, and having such a disadvantage here means that Extinction have to play far back. They have to give free push. Neptune's just pre-fighted though.
Oh, that is a nasty death. Nightmare are going to go ahead and disengage. They've got time. They're going to wait for Neptune to get back into this. OC from Choppers just start this early. Just buying as enough time as they can. Try to find an early pick. Pela bubbles and backs away. Temp also low, but neither of them go down. Pela pushed forward, trying to get aggressive. Circles around once again. We get an aggressive extinction push, but this time there is a consuming rush on the point. The rotation is broken up by Nightmare. There's an awkward Kitsu. Pela's able to get one. Neptune is just jumping around behind these two. What is going on? The cart's getting away from him. This is a crazy overtime.
There's no way you're allowed to live there. Just hard peeking a high charge Czar who's just not looking at you. It means you can sandwich the remaining 3 members on cart.
No way!
Then he grabbed. He's grabbed 0 people. He's done 0 damage. What's going on?
Aniyun is down. Pela is able to find Chopper though. That's some of your big chunk of damage gone. Rocket's down too. You have no DPS players left. AST has got to make up for the ground if they want to cap this, and that means killing 2 people. No, it's not going to happen.
I can't believe he grabs nobody.
I can't believe
anybody, and they finish here.
I can't believe anything that just happened over the past 45 seconds.
It's bloody pandemonium in the lobby, but hey, you'll take that if you manage to find the hole. When all said and done, it's 84 meters through the 3rd point of Shambali Monastery, and at least there's a goal in sight here from now aggressors, but that's a lot of distance to get on Shambali Monastery, a map where traditionally you can find some very early holes, especially in the 2nd phase of the map. I need a moment, man.
No, traditionally a very defensively favored map. So I mean that is still a formidable win con here for Nightmare. No doubts. That was like, wait a minute. We need to get, I need to get like Spylo, OC, and Junkbutt all in a room and figure out what the fuck we just saw. Like, what the hell was that?
I couldn't tell you if I tried. I really couldn't. Okay, it's fine.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine, really. I'm not mad. I'm just getting a bit flushed.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
But no, we're starting off with the same thing here. No reason to see any changes. Obviously, the aggressor's going to go for attempts at picks. Social's going to sleep. Juno's 5 orbiting attempts, firing a Sonic Arrow, maybe another. But this hasn't got any success since... I don't think I've ever seen it work on Shambali, to be honest. They will continue not to.
I do like the 5 orb angle. I have started using that. It's a good angle. I mean, I'd have to agree with you. I've never seen it actually connect, but it is a good angle. All right, Rocket anchoring the cart right now. AST's going to play high ground. The Rocket is kind of playing off tank at the moment. And you kind of bounce back and forth. So Rocket now pushing into the pottery shop. This will force AST to drop. I say that AST to drop. There you go. A little bit late and a little bit weird. AST's got to bubble up, back away, but Lampent gets popped, trying to pursue. AST is still low, and Extinction thought they could get the kill. Rocket plays a little bit of aggro. We'll get a fight over the second corner.
True, but they need to go fast, otherwise they're going to be spawns back pretty fast. Pela down low, force, but bubbles out as well as cleanse. Down resources is Extinction. But nobody's there to punish, and a high charge Pela means this refight is going to be strong. Got everything that they need. All they need to do is square up to the corner and hope the swing is strong. Nutta as well, he's got to hit scan, set in that small room, waiting for a peak. Temp is so far out this fight, and decides just to swing back main.
And that's what I was looking at as well, was Temp inside the room. It's kind of an interesting angle, but then Chopper's just kind of free to swing and fire into the choke. Ends up catching Lampent, and that's going to be a defensive fight win.
Game plan there was to have Temp go like super deep into the enemy backline, create something of a pincer movement. Unfortunately, just there's so much uptime in the fight that Chopper is doing everything he can, everything he wants in the meanwhile, and pick found. Half the time bank now eclipse. They square back up to the plate. Hopefully this time it's stronger.
I like this move. Lampent goes towards Coast to make sure Chopper can't just sit back here. Here's another push of that same exact move. Is it a 1v3 at the moment? Won't get out. That was a nice play from Rocket and Neptune both to kind of keep Lampent at bay while Chopper just poured in the hurt.
Yeah, just delves, again, far too deep. Like we're always saying with these deaths, it's a powerful hero, but you're not immortal. And obviously Chopper able to find 2 rail kills towards the end, makes that cleanup nice and convenient. Significant lead on the grab charges, a huge one here, especially when we get down to brass tacks, down to this lower time bank. ASC knows that there's a fight in the palm of their hand as long as they connect onto one. Hasn't always done that though.
Similar approach, or at least a similar goal from Lampent. Different approach trying to go over the wall this time, but We have Extinction forced Nightmare back. They're going to respond with a graviton surge,
wow.
catching 3. That was a big grab out of AST. Social!
That's cool. I was about to say, wow, a beat in that grab would have been really good, but I guess they're saving it for next fight. They pissed it away. It really is as simple as that. It's one of the worst sound barriers we've seen since Natsuki. And now because of that, they have no protection against the Sundering Blade, no protection against this overclock, and Neptune's be unmirrored. Temp and Lampent have to be the heroes here. Pela, a grab may be a necessity. Social, that was a map losing mistake.
That was a gargantuan error. OC's here. What could potentially be final fight for the map this defense holds. Rokit's gonna drop the Sundering. Oh, on the rooftop, it's gonna be tough to read. And Pela, in fact, gets caught. Neptune loses the ultimate. That might have just been the saving grace here for Extinction. They're able to go, you know what? Your sound barrier's no good either. You got Juno. Oh, excuse me, Aniyun is low. Rokit is able to get a kill. I think the defense might have just held with that pick here from Rokit. Rokit standing tall on the point, looking surrounded, but it is a trapped in here with me situation. And Nightmare hang on to win it out. Oh, huge PK raid. Yo, thank you so much. Painkiller with the enormous raid. Let's go. Acid Drafts. I appreciate the follow off of that. Welcome, Raiders.
Yeah, you picked a good time to come in. This game has been... It's been quite something so far. 3-2 loss if it was played out. A revenge match here. A grudge match for Nightmare. They've just taken the lead in it. And in pretty dominant fashion too, I've got to say. It's, I think, energy pretty high in the lobby. Plenty of individual mistakes coming out, but it just adds to the gravitas. You could be anywhere and you could be thinking about that, but you could be meeting your partner's parents for the first time and you could just be like, damn, why'd I press Q? It's gonna be a fat finger. Like, it's gotta be a fat finger.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Unbelievable. We're gonna get a Remacher bad Blizzard World pick here out of Extinction.
Yeah, Sojban, very, very interesting, actually. Normally, so you play Soj just because she's not that much of a target for your Odetta. You can play the cast, but Flashbang just isn't enough, normally. So
right.
I'm curious to see whether we have the cast or the, more likely, in my opinion, the Freya roll out.
Very close as far as stats in map 3. We'll say pretty convincing. I mean, you know, I was about to say convincing team fight wins for Nightmare on that, but honestly, I think the math is pretty close. Look at that, 9966, 9966. The difference is Chopper with 5 deaths and Lampent with 11. So you have 6 more deaths for Extinction, just on that alone. Otherwise, you had identical deaths down the board.
ASC gonna be back on Old Faithful. Pela back on the ball. Both sides playing what comes so naturally to them. So far, it's worked out much better for NTMR. No, Chopper on the Ashe as well. Remember, we talked about that Sojan ban coming through. The Ashe, if actual pressure comes through, just has to essentially just take the damage. So Chopper's main method of safety is going to be raw distance, going to be taking care of the opponents before they even reach him. In terms of raw damage potential, Ashe is probably the highest.
Ashe, yeah.
Watch out for that interaction.
Could also be the most vulnerable to a dive out of Pela.
For sure.
Hello, Mega Ninja. I appreciate you being here. With the Wu Young no longer banned, Social's free to go back into this hero. So that's had enough Lucio after that last one.
I get it, bro. Not do the same.
I totally get it. Whoa! That's a dangerous spot to hole up.
Good space taken so far from Extinction. This is a
For
great position for them to be in. Cleanse out for them, but Juno is in a strong enough position. Backline scaling for Lampent, but misses the overhead.
Lampent and Pela squeeze in. Chopper's able to find Chopper's able to find Juno, rather. Might put a damper on this attack. We'll see if Lampent can trade it out quickly enough. Temp is able to find Rokit. That is an important pick. You'll get Juno and the Kirito back into this fight pretty fast with the swift step. You see Pela just stalling out just a little bit, and then we're having Extinction pursuing a 5v4. No ultimates coming online just yet. And you see, at only about half charge.
Struggling to get too much done with that level of DPS, unfortunately. Rokit, bubble, finds value, but Temp just pops his clock. Great double tap, and surely that's enough now for them to get moving in.
Lampent will not trade, able to take down AST with the cutting edge. And yeah, absolutely, that should be the cap just there. Well, especially if we can get a late pick. Oh, give me some Lampent pop. What's going on in here? Oh no, Neptune stuck in the corner.
Their gameplay. Neptune has a pretty rough time of things. Lampent has to use a sword block to extricate themselves, but it's all good on the hood. There won't be any retouches, won't be any refight. So Lampent not allowed to delve any further into the map, at least for now. Chopper with a Bob. Probably the big tool here for the defenders. Not great tools to shut this down, and when a comp that thrives so much around individual sustainability, just having that auto hitting presence really makes crossing open space brutal.
Slow approach out of Extinction. They just get the cart up through the choke way. Juno poking from the bottom right-hand side of your screen and building towards the rest of that Kitsune rush. We'll see if they want to try to... I'm anticipating a move to the high ground and try to drop Kitsu. And see if they can dislodge AST. It would take too long, though. Rokit is going to decide to move in. We get Chopper's going to throw the beat, and the defense pulls the trigger. The Kitsune rush used out of Aniyun here to fend off Lampent. Lampent drops into Mega Room and throws down the Sundering. Backs up to protect Pela. That was quite the ultimate. Still a bit of tiny Overwatch going on down here in the Hall of Fame. Sound barrier is now getting invested from Neptune. Social had thrown in the title blast through that exchange as well. Pela jumps back to the point, throws down some mines, and despite losing Lampent in the fight, is going to try to just keep Nightmare at bay. Confine them inside the arcade. They cannot. Here comes Nightmare exploding out to retake their space.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, Sound Barrier is kind of just a better ultimate than that title blast, right? Rokit tries to charge into one of his own, but just able to, well, not do that much. So obviously trades it back. 3 minutes on the bank. Obviously, the pressure is always on the attackers to actually find these fight wins, and they have to make sure they're taking these strong angles. In a raw brawl matchup, then AST and Co always going to find a more success. A solo grab, more than a possibility here, a likelihood. And with no more title blast, they have no way of extricating somebody from the touches of gravity. Rokit just being pre-fighted, though, makes this a hell of a lot easier.
That's a hell of a pickup. I don't know how your Wrecking Ball is able to get the Vendetta. Grab and response right onto the point. It's got to pick up two, and that's, oh, no, just got Lampent. Maybe Juno was able to swift step away. The Social able to find one here. Things are getting interesting. Pela goes back to the point. Shuts down Rokit Sundering. And that'll be the cap. 2 points on the board. 3:40 to go.
It's just a check, Jeff. Are the sides in the correct way?
They are now.
Ah, good. Making sure.
No, good check.
Curious to see if we stick with the ball here. It's much harder to take the kind of high grounds, angles, same nonsense that has taken you through the first 2 phases of the map. Into the Zarya, you're going to have to eat a lot of damage. Basically, it's guaranteed, especially with this Kitsune rush on the horizon. Right, so very much a sink or swim moment for the offending composition.
I think this bullet shot can actually find a lot of value in the Kitsu. Everybody wants to bunch up in a Kitsu. Don't forget, Bola Shot got buffed when the, we saw France take some nerfs. Bola Shot actually got buffed in that exchange. Bob thrown out here a bit early. Once again, we see Nightmare take the initiative. It was with a title blasted, buffed Lampent trying to engage is what prompted all of that.
Bob is maybe kiteable. Mine's being invested, actually sure they want to fight it, but it's not working out in favor of Extinction whatsoever. Wiped out here, Nightmare in defense. ASC feels comfortable peeking the enemy spawn. And you've got both supports online for the next fight. Enough time to charge into your Graviton Surge. And like I mentioned, the swap comes through. Social back onto that Lucio. Pela onto the Tsar. The only difference now is going to be in that hit scan, and Rokit obviously on that Tracer rather than Deather.
It's an interesting swap. I don't know. I'm curious what prompted that. Kitsu's going to get thrown in here from Aniyun. There's a lot of low health bars. Tried to respond with that ultimate like I was talking about. Not able to connect. Pela ends up going down. 2 minutes remain. Pick on to Neptune, though. Was this an opportunity?
It may well be. Ash, going to be mirrored out, actually. Oh no, decides to go May. I think this is maybe even better. You've got Wulcons and the enemy Zar to force bubbles, and just a little bit more survival. Can play a little bit more with your own tank. I like this pick from Temp if he can make it work.
Neptune back in, drops this bait and responds. Aniyun still goes down, but looked like a pretty enormous grab. You got at least 3 in that one. You know what gets traded back? Lampent gets 2, and there's the power of the Detta. And well, you know, not having one, Chopper runs off this direction while Lampent's running away with the spoon.
What is this? Like you mentioned, it's tiny Overwatch. Chopper finds himself 3 unpleasant bedmates. He's taking care of from melee from social. Rolling into the end, a cap with time now, possibility.
Well, and because of that, I mean, Lampent was pushing that entire time. That's going to go right through your bubble. Suzu already used, and AST gets flattened. Absolutely destroyed. Social beat in, saves Pela at the last possible moment, who, will still die with their 100 charge. Not able to get grabbed into this fight. Lampent sent packing by a bomb. Tim blocks him off with the wall, and Extinction still have 4-player presence. Lampent's going to get 2 with the block onto the Mog, and we get a cap with 38 seconds remaining.
May, Detta, Zarya, not something you see every day, but the success rate is pretty good looking at it statistically. And,
is that a 100% success rate? Is that what you're...
I haven't seen it before. I don't know about you.
1 out of 1, guaranteed to work.
Listen, there's lies, damn lies, and statistics. Here's an example of the former.
I just wanted to verify that's what we were talking about here.
Yep. I do this stuff all the time. It's just, it always works. The best thing as well is you've got something that's 1 of 1, then you extrapolate the data set. That's the way to really put a statistician's knickers in a twist. But, you know.
Oh, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let's look at some stats here. What do we got stat-wise? Chopper.
Get 7S.
Look at Chopper's damage. God.
What a mercy.
Yo.
He's got, what, like, any 3 members of his team combined? He's out-damaging them.
Oh my
that's
God.
a real concept. That's a real concept. Absolutely. Chopper is Nightmare right now. It's Chopper and friends.
It's just Chopper and friends. Wow.
What a mercy, man. That is powerful.
So yeah, I'm gonna give you some Chopper Pov here at the start of this fight. As I say that, Rocket goes up to the Griffin. Okay, force back down. Default Chopper Pov. Bubble engage. That was just kind of like, I think Rocket was just kind of faking an engage, like just kind of flew forward like 10 meters, and it was like, yeah, here we go. We are going to get a bit of a scrim on point now, though. Social is able to find our 12k damage output, and defense has got a +1, take aim bolt. Woo! Great save from Aniyun, but they sacrificed themselves to keep Rocket alive, and it will not pay off in the end.
Yeah, able to clean that one up pretty fast there. There were a couple chances. Social being caught on by Rocket was a possibility. Rocket just decides that Detta isn't his speed anymore. Onto the Sombra does give you good 1v1s v basically everyone, but I just don't think the hero value is there on the individual level, especially in the neutral. I think Nightmare are going to be challenged, but they will have EMP to basically just guarantee them a fight win. This is risky business, and I'm not quite sure I'm here for it.
It does also feel like Nightmare, who have been so proactive, they have gone into this very reactive composition, right? With you're going to a cast Sombra, you're kind of waiting for Pela, you're waiting for Lampent to make a move before you respond. That is not how Nightmare have been finding success all day long. Not at all. It's been going fast and going first.
I'm just like I get there might be a loss of confidence here, perhaps, but I just don't think this comp is that good. I think it's a lot of pressure on Rocket and Chopper to just find individual value from these positions, and I think they are somewhat disadvantaged in them. You do have like good 1v1s, but Pela and Co just don't have to give them. So yeah, they can keep walking up, but look how they're being crossfire. Look how much damage they're taking on the walk up before they even have a chance to get involved.
Chopper gets bubble, Rocket's already down, and that's from Juno. Tim's gonna throw in a bullet shot on this door. Uh-oh. Temp is starting to get surrounded. You can see reinforcements are showing up.
Enemy number 1.
Social and Pela doing an enormous amount of damage to AST as AST was trying to chase. Temp just draws all the aggro in the world. Really nicely played there out of Extinction. I'll drop the bracket link in chat after this match is over, or after the map is over, rather.
He gets like triple cleared on Cliffside. That's not something I see basically ever. But hey, he's actually able to live, and because he draws all that aggro, then his team's able to find, again, success. Friends used so early, the mines, it's not there for the minefield.
Exactly, the mines immediately followed up. That's perfectly drawn up. It's exactly how you draw up that play. You get out the most important cooldown you can, drop mines in right on a very huddled up Nightmare squad. Absolutely S-tier engagement there from Extinction's defense.
I'm willing to say it. Extinction is taking us to 5. This defense has been absolutely clinical. Nightmare not able to get anything started. If they do, this will be their chance. 4 check marks available if they play 4 ASC designs Graviton Surge, as they should. Your opponent does not have fantastic engage tools. Taking a Kitsu match with you is never a great idea.
Let's go for the Lampent Pav. Ooh, the bubble just in time to save Neptune. Okay, the Kitsune Rush has got Nightmare to the point, and the one from Extinction is very off the objective. Not a very high value Kitsu out of Juno, considering how much we were just praising this defense. Temp with a long range bolo shot, but a good boop has put Nightmare kind of back into a corner. Chopper is able to find Juno, who is isolated on that corner, but yet another Nene grab out of AST design. That's the second one this series. Lampent low, though, and I think Nightmare might have done enough here, Spec. They'll at least get a point on the board.
Yeah, but it takes them having a humongous ult bank and just essentially throwing ults at the problem. Like I mentioned, you aren't matching Kitsu in this composition with like Wu Yang Ball into a Lucio Zar comp. It doesn't work. They try it, they get punished for it. They were down one anyway. I'm not mad about it, but I think Nightmare have to realize that they're very much getting by the absolute seat of their pants. That's only going to last so long against a team like Extinction. ASD able to get early bubble charge. What can you actually do with it though now? Down your Graviton Surge and not really having the time to go for a 5-man high ground clear.
Yeah, less than 2 minutes on the clock. Pela scouting for a minefield. Oop. We're gonna go inside. We're gonna drop it inside the mega room. Those are nasty plays for a minefield. Oh. More tiny Overwatch and para kills there for Nightmare. Oh, Pela just piles on more.
Yeah,
that's essentially an ace for Pela. I think Lampent technically got one of those final blows, but I'm calling that one as an ace for Pela.
Lampent's not getting anything done this fight, and as Pela locks them all up and throws away the key. Beautiful play from the Extinction Ball again. Cutting the Nightmare time bank in half, putting the pressure on their backs. They go for the cliffside rotate. Social's just dead. Weird as hell. Folsom, he's not fantastic. Exploratory, maybe.
Well, what a dangerous spot to be trying to fight against a Wrecking Ball. They're trying to rotate docks against Pela's ball. That is just a dangerous endeavor. They're able to stay tight, though, and Nightmare will get it done, picking up all of those kills along the way. And this is the best they've looked on out of Point B so far.
Takes a little while, but Extinction try and hit early and get punished for that. Finally able to receive one of these hits in an effective manner without spending heavily. Because of that, they got the full 5-finger punch here. And it may well buy them yet another time bank extension. They are Extinction. All you can really do is try and bleed out as many as possible. Hope you get a pre-5 pick. 10 pick could be the hero. Needs to be the hero.
Chopper's going to open up with a Deadeye. 20 seconds to go. An enormous ult bank. I feel like you can just throw one away here. Let's keep an eye on Rokit with the other DPS ult. Man, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Juno close to that Kitsu. Not quite ready to go yet. Pela's going to go ahead and throw in the mines as we hear the Aniyun Kitsune rush come in. Soundbreaker just in time from Neptune. I think saved him from a boop into the minefield there.
Great damage from the minefields.
Grab still in the pocket from AST to try to close out this point, and it will come out immediately. You're going to catch 2 in that Lampent and Pela both gone.
We've been flaming the ASC grabs, but this time able to close out the point with it. Catches onto 3. They all insta-die, because you're a high charge now. What else are they here to do? Now, minute and 10 seconds or so to try and finish the map. It's winnable for either side here. And remember, if we do see a completion for Nightmare. Best they get is extra innings.
I will say it cost Nightmare all 4 of their ultimates to get that point, so it has swung the macro kind of back into the defensive Extinction's favor. Sober Sushi, thank you so much for the follow. Specific looking at this sound barrier. Social's going to drop that in immediately. Go try to run down the back line. Got hit by a flashbang. And a decent disengage there out of Nightmare. They're able to thwart the attack. Now looking to counterpunch.
Sure, I like that. Means the sound barrier won't be there for AST's next grab, no matter what happens. So Pela just needs to outvalue. Neptune dead, though. It's a hell of a lot easier. Pela finds the value even as they die. Lampent finds all necessary eliminations. Rokit decides Gravity can do that for him. 20 seconds left to go. A touch, I believe, is possible, but it's going to be awkward, which is why we're jamming the spawn doors. Tempest on May once more, trying to delay them by any means necessary, but again, without Pela, they can't hold as aggro as they want. Overtime will be started. 2 in a row needed from Nightmare.
It looks like both bubbles out. That's going to prompt the Deadeye. Lampent will not escape that ultimate. First kill here for Nightmare. Might be enough to be considered the first of those 2 fight wins if they can get this cart close enough.
Doing a rush from Aniyun. Be absolutely ginormous here. Has to find value. Disengage on that ult. Could be everything. Good wall.
Kitsu does make it through. Pela's in a bit of trouble. Chase down in from Rokit and company. Pela's able to survive. Lampent does not stay alive long enough to get the ultimate in. Beat is down. Rokit finds a kill onto Social. And we will get a cap here out of Nightmare.
Such a good timing to swing on, I have to say. If they waited any longer, then Pela would have had grab. Juno or Lampent would have found a chance to use their ultimates. Yeah, there's Blizzard coming online. But they engage for any of that's there. They beat their opponents with sheer ults once more. And now it's just a 38-second time bank difference. All that separates these 2 teams at 38 seconds. Separates Extinction from the lower bracket. Nightmare from a map 5. This one's coming right down to the wire.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't have our playoffs any other way. You know, we had 3 of our EMEA games go to a map 5 earlier today. I was hoping this one would follow suit. I was hoping.
Still very much a possibility, of course. Pela back on that ball. Feel like Social's Wing has been quietly just adding a huge amount of stats to this composition. Just throwing in damage for basically free and not been isolated too many times whatsoever. Take another look at the stats. Chopper's at 21k damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say Social has put out the same amount of damage as both Aniyun and Neptune combined, though. So talking about damage coming out of that back line, I mean, it is just that much more pressure, right? And Juno's got another 7k on top of that. So there has been an enormous amount of damage for this backline. That was actually a great shot. I agree wholeheartedly. And yeah, Chopper, it will go back to the Cassidy with the 20k already on the board.
So how it works, Nightmare starting first there, lowering time bank. 1 push on the Tsar. Often risky. Not picked up so far. In fact, a force out of Lampent's recall means they can take high ground for free. Or more or less, if they spend an M.
Yeah, Pela's lingering, but I don't think... Might get a pile drive here, but I don't think it's going to try to give their lives for this. No, they're not even going to try to fight for high ground. It's giving an immediate swing down to Mega. Okay, Lampent is scouting one side, make sure they can come out the front. Pela, I think, is waiting here on the back. High ground from the supports. Oh, a couple of good swings there. Nightmare want to get this high ground away from. They're trying to fight up these stairs, but they can't. Chopper gets cut down, trying to push through to the back of the objective. AST suffers the same fate. This defense comes out on top, and barring the world's greatest performance here from a Kirito at the fight, there it is. That's going to be the hold. We're getting a map 5 one way or another.
Nightmare go around the world in the 80 days. This time Pela's the globe, and it don't end the same way at all. And they find nothing. This rotate is just way too contrived, unfortunately. And just not a fantastic composition to attempt to play in this style of play. When you really need just this one fight, right? Your Zarya starts off with no charge, so if anything just begins to tip away from your favor, you're gonna get snowballed against. Now, it can be about 2 attempts for Extinction to do the same thing. They don't get that, then this entire map, this 25 minutes of play, that's all for naught. They get it, however. They're one map away from doing the upset twice. Double tapping Goliath.
And I will say, I think a $138 is enough to guarantee an ult cycle. Just barely. But like 60 seconds isn't enough. I think you can count on getting a Kitsune rush up in a minute 38.
So
and hopefully use that, you know, just throw that over the point and claim the 33% you need.
One ult cycle does mean sometimes teams like to play for it, but with this comp, all your values in the neutral anyway. Your ults don't really mean jack. Temp, double bolts, Pela, slams followed up from Social and Lampent. That's what we're playing for here. Rokit back on the Tracer, back on Old Faithful. The same of Chopper, who's locked his Ash once more.
Yeah, this is where we saw Chopper put up the 12k in that one round on the Ash. And did a really good job of controlling Pela with the, you know, a lot of that poke damage. There you go. Aniyun's going to find Lampent early. I'm talking about value in the neutral. Able to swift step out of the pile drive. And then Pela just backs away sheepishly. NC State, I appreciate the raid. Thank you so much. Gosh, so many raids tonight. Y'all are so awesome. Thank you so much.
I see all the love pouring in. Obviously, this is the advantage of having this extra time bank, right? Your Tracer gets picked. You take the walk up again, and you're still at the minute. Still playable. Rokit forced out. High ground boot, not succeeding just yet for Pela. Oh no!
Oh, wow. What an angle. When Chopper just knew just how much to turn on that one. We're going back up. We're going for another round. Pela's going fishing once again. Chopper back in a position to rain hell onto the back lines. Actually jumped down into the thick of things. Gets the coach gun out. Stays alive. No way Chopper is still alive. You've got to be kidding me. That pile drive will eventually do it. Well, a little help from Lampent as well. 20 seconds remaining, and that, I mean, for a minute and 20 of this, it had been Extinction searching for that kill. Pela layers on 2 more. Extinction are going to take us to a map 5. It's 2-2 in your upper bracket round 1.
Extinction belay the tie. And I gotta say, they do it in a pretty poetic manner as well, right? You remember how hard all of Nightmare pushed to take care of Temp in that same kind of, you know, left side room on the cliff. They didn't succeed. And Extinction do the same, however, that it is Chopper who eventually goes down, even with the United States government level of support he's receiving. And that was the first thread to unravel the rest of the team.
Because, I mean, beautiful minds, the setup, the little double boop we see in close quarters. Oh, that was a Wrecking Ball's dream there. Extinction, I mean, they've at least twice in a row have now taken Nightmare to 5. Yeah, it's this, I mean, map 5, like, you have your defending champs going up against the absolute favorites in the division. I mean, this really just had a little bit of everything in it, Spec. Get you some stats there from map 4. Chopper ends up at 23.3k, leading the server by a country mile in damage.
If I did that much damage and lost, I'd be saying things. I think part of it though, being you know, fully serious, is that Bull gives you a lot of damage that is unconfirmable, right?
Absolutely.
He's got like 700 HP. He's got a big ass hitbox. You shoot him, he rolls away. Everybody feels like worse off for the interaction. So I think a lot of the damage does come through from that. I think we look at damage into conversions to be a lot more even across the server.
Fingers crossed for my Extinction friends out there, at least.
Yeah. Still, what a time to not be able to play.
For real.
First day of playoffs against a team who you won in a nail-biting upset. Like, you've got to at least have this on a second monitor, right? Watching your team again go the entire distance, again be this close to completing the victory. Simply be out from Temp. Pela's going to have so much early scaling here, but we spoke about Bull on this point. We spoke about Bull on Suravasa here. An uphill battle, perhaps, from Extinction to close out this series, but they're going to give it their bloody best attempt.
I am surprised. I'm honestly kind of taking notes, like, how do you engage with a Wrecking Ball on this map? Especially against Zarya Detta. Best Detta in A. Telling you, friends, I'm telling you. All right, here we go. Rocket's making a move. All right, didn't like that one. Social. That's how scary social is on this Wuyong. Immediately, Rocket didn't want none of that. I guess it may have been a call on to Juno as well. We're gonna see the Kirito's been hunted down here by the Nightmare Assault Crow. They make their way on to point. Rokit's able to fight Social along the way. 4v3 for Nightmare on this opening team fight.
No supports alive for Extinction. There's nothing to do. It's lovely, of course, that you're able to get your one. It doesn't matter in the long run. Lampent, however, early scaling, and the fact the supports are so fast means they can just walk back in and find a flip, essentially. Pela does have to conserve his life, but killing a ball is harder than just reducing their HP.
Let's talk about needing to anchor on the cart. Lampent was the one trying to hold down the objective, but does just get ran over. You see Nightmare just overwhelms with bodies onto this objective. Pela is just a little too late trying to do anything about it.
Talk about these flashpoints tick up so fast as well. 50% already here, and we're still basically just neutraling. If we are Extinction, good slams. The final blow is just not there, though.
You need to be able to convert some of this damage. Ah, Juno goes down again. Your backline just struggling to stay alive. Rokit's gonna go hunting Temp now. Temp heads to the high ground. I will say, you know what? At least Social and Pela are keeping things interesting. AST turns this into a 2v2. Lines onto the point. Social with the self-blast. Tries to go run down the Zarya. I think actually got the stun onto the Zarya, but got out.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do once the level actually pops. They get the flip. Aniyun's taken care of. 99% is scary. But, I mean, as hard as the enemy team were to shift, because your comp's relatively low damage, it's exactly the same for them. If they catch someone, sure, they're going to be dead, but who is an easy target? Who can they isolate? Who can they take care of? Maybe nobody. They're going to have to use ults to fight their way in. Great friends, Pela's out.
I think Temp has got to be the target if you're trying to run down somebody. You can hear Lampent giving chase, following Nightmare up here where the Kitsune Rush has been tossed in.
Hits for 0 damage.
But you... Oh, no. I was going to say you might get point flip for it, but you don't even get that. Now we're going to get the Temp overclock thrown into this. Chopper doesn't quite have theirs yet. Neptune layers in the second support ult, and that will be enough to get you a flip on this objective. Pela, low on health, is struggling to stick around on this point. Is just barely trying to tiptoe in and out. Nightmare will whittle down what remains of Extinction and are in a good position to take this opening point.
Strive for Extinction, but they just don't have the ults to compete in this moment, or really ever. They end up getting forced off by the Kitsune Rush. They can't contest that. They know that. And with point presence and ults being active, they're able to find success. Temp tries the OC to deny, but he's forced off so early. His uptime with that ult is pretty poor, unfortunately. So we head towards Ruins, and still with the Graviton Surge unmirrored, it's the ult advantage heavily towards Nightmare.
Dope. Thank you, Maddie. Sorry, I forgot to swap sides again. My bad. We are hitting the Blitzkrieg bingo hard today. Oh, great kill from Pela to shut down Chopper's OC. And just an immediate +2. What a clapback here for Extinction as we head into Gardens.
That's everything you could want. Your opponents press their buttons, you don't, and you just take care of it, right? There's very little left to say. You're just able to win out on the individual. You get first cap. We see how powerful that is, right? On just the previous point where, because you have control, any sort of long fight, which of course you're praying for as Pela and co, is even so much more beneficial to you.
Oh, we get a ton of blaster to start this off. I also owe y'all a ban, I just realized. We'll talk about that here in a second. AST low mines out on this point from Pela to try to see if they can take this up to a final fight. Oh, they're going to stagger out. Oh, man. And Aniyun tries to come save and just gets slammed by the pile drive.
That is nasty work. Staggering a high charge dive is something you see every day. The Extinction pushing out the envelope into what's possible on Wrecking Ball here. 75%, I think they can touch, but it's going to be kind of sketchy. That's exactly why we see Extinction push up so far, fighting the stairway, fighting a different bloody flashpoint.
They really are. They're not even at the same point anymore. And we'll get a touch back on Garden. Nightmare able to put their back onto the point. They're going to hold it with a grab and a Kitsu. Lampent through the skylight with the Sundering. Catches Rokit. No way that worked. And you got AST to boot. There was a grab thrown in. I think it got one. What a play for Nightmare to take this second flashpoint. You've got to be kidding me.
the first time I've seen the Skylight used for anything impactful, and a Sundering Blade from the bloody heavens enough to flatten Rokit, nuke the HP of AST, and tie up Suravasa here 1-2-1. That is brilliant stuff from Lampent. Absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
His team now on the front foot, momentum on their side, an OC from the high ground here. Everything's looking up now for Extinction.
What a swing. All right, we're going to get a duel of the Fangs there on the coast. Sorry, I botched the pop on that. I was swapping multiple things around. I don't often see a fight out here. Chopper's able to find Lampent. Pela's like, hey, that'd be a great place to go fight as a wrecking ball. I never get to fight out there. They also get a Tidal Blast here to help them out. You're able to get the stun down on the Aniyun. Nice. They are not going to be able to get from that one. Neptune goes to the point. Drops a beat for 4. Mines over the fountain, but a bit of a split from AST and Rokit. They've been able to secure a couple of kills. Now they're going to go chase down Lampent. Still nobody in control at this point just yet.
That's true, but things very much not going in favor of Extinction here. I think it's unlikely they'll be getting any progress, and that will not materialize. Lampent sells himself for an extra second of neutral time, but it won't matter whatsoever. The next fight now, and I've got to say, this lane so effective for Chopper now. He has to be the master of it. Instead, just let Temp walk up, maybe knowing that there's a bit of a lead in the OC charge. Maybe just looking for high ground to be controlled.
Yeah, if that was an ult charge read, that's a hell of a read. Temp is going to go ahead and pop this OC. Oh, Rokit's cut down. Yeah. Pela makes it in, though. Finds Chopper. Makes this endeavor worthwhile. 4v4. Oh, and Rokit just ate so much damage. We were talking about the impact of Social quietly having massive impact. Quiet but deadly on the Leong. And there was a big, chunky shot that put an end to Rokit in the middle of this fight. Still, 71% on the board for Nightmare before they finally give it up.
Yeah. It's touchable, at least, for Extinction, but it is bloody sketchy. Strong check marks their opponents. Rokit with blades.
That's enough to, I mean, you force a good disengage. OC out of Chopper. Oh, you caught him. You were just waiting for that rotation across the palace. You know what? It is traded on Sojas. Neptune, wait, no shot. Oh, what happened out there on coast? I don't know. Social goes for a swim. Pela caught in a grab. Nightmare in a position. Flip the point. They take control of Palace.
Lampent needs to live here. Lampent cannot get cleared. To survive, you have a touch guaranteed. If you die, your team has to go down 1 and 2 here on map number 5, and that is not a scenario you want to be in.
Black Minecraft, thank you so much for the prime sub. Huge. Really appreciate that. Lampent does move in, get the touch, start the OT. Tidal Blast at the ready. Goes on to Temp of all players. Not usually thrown onto a hit scan. Kitsune Rush onto the point. Juno does have the late response. Pile drive in on ACT. AST low. Mine's got him in a corner. The beat lands. How does Neptune get that beat down? Still AST is in a world of hurt. Lampent will move in, get the blink melee kill, but Chopper and Rokit have been able to answer back on the other side. Rokit will layer in another one, finish off the ball. And it's a 2-1 lead for Nightmare.
No shot that beat lands. I thought for sure that was the age active for Century. But Neptune's able to connect it. Because of that, astdesign has the HP to tank like 4 mines. And when all is said and done, like I said, it is 2-1 for Nightmare. Now they're the ones in the driver's seat. Now they're the ones on the precipice of closing out this series. All they've got to do is defend themselves here on Gardens. No check marks to play with, so it is into the neutral. And that has been better for Nightmare historically.
But Tim making a swap to the Freya. It's been exceptional with it so far today. Will be enough. Bubble up on Rokit. They move in and take a kill on to Juno. Lampent caught in that crossfire as well, and with the advantage, Nightmare will grab first cap.
Getting Chopper, they do their thing. They find their individuals. First cap for Nightmare. Beginning of the end. Perhaps as the counter begins to tick towards 100. Any chase kills here would be more than pristine. They're able to extricate themselves for now. Obviously, advantage from those DPS ults are going to be a huge factor here. If Extinction, normally I'd be talking about trying to force ults, but you just need to find a flip, and I don't know how you do that.
It's gotta be, you gotta isolate and find an opening pick so hard on Garden. Oh, some nice boop damage through there. You're actually able to do some good separation, but Rokit keeps the rest of the team back, and Neptune boops the pile drive. Unfortunate. That's 60% of the board. We need a reset out of Extinction, and we need it now.
Listen, 70%, they should be able to get there in time, but Pela going down, that is absolutely worst case scenario here. You'll have Tidal Blast, maybe a Bowler, but you're walking into the full gamut of ultimates. Everything bar the sword. You might have to fall on your own here.
There's the wrecking ball. Was it too? No, it was not! No, it was not! I was about to say it was too early! It was too early! And that's how this one ends. Not with a bang, but with a whimper.
It's such a good day before this. Oh my god.
There you go. There you go. That's how we start playoffs. That's how we start playoffs. Map 5 banger. Between your number 2 and your number 7 seed. 10 maps played between these two so far here at Season 7. First one went Extinction's way. Nightmare will take this one. And Extinction will have to fight back through the lower bracket if they want a shot at revenge. Pela was just, I mean, I think 1% too early. I think it was at 96 when they swung off of the objective, thinking that they had initiated.
It's going to be a heartbreaking loss for Extinction.
You will have Dreamland taking on EDM in your upper bracket semifinals. Nightmare taking on Kintsugi. Woo, what a game that's going to be. Kintsugi is the only other team to beat Nightmare. Nightmare have to play their 2 losses in the opening 2 rounds. That's wild. Yeah, they got 3-0'd by Kintsugi in regular season. So that'll be fun. Beck, thank you so much for joining. Oh, wait, let's give a player of the match here real quick. Let's go look at some quick stats. I'll give you some quick stats from map 5. Let's give a player of the match here for this banger of a series. What do you think before we get out of here? Rocket? I'm on board with that.
Rokit just like double killed 2 so many times to start a fight. It's just stupid value.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, like it shouldn't be allowed, but he's doing it. And one of the big reasons why Nightmare were able to get this revenge win.
Yeah, wholehearted. Best data at A. I mean, honestly, I genuinely think best Vendetta in FACEIT League. I think it'd be top between them and Turbo would genuinely be the top 2 Vendettas in FACEIT League. And Lampent was really able to kind of go toe to toe, go tit for tat with Rokit in their first go around. But I think Rokit kind of ran away with it this time. I agree with that. There you go. Rokit player of the match. That's it. We're gonna go ahead and call it.